Hey loves! So in this video, it's basically going to be a bronzy Sunday glam look. Before I started the video, I already primed my face with the Maybelline Master Prime Primer, and I also used the NYX Studio Concealer, which is in the green. It is CW12. I used that to conceal any blemishes that I had. I also primed my eyes with the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Priming Potion, and I also used the Tarte Shape Tape, which I use in the color Light Medium, and I used that on my eyes to conceal any veins that I had. I put a strip of tape on the outer corners of my eye to really define my eyeshadow and to also eventually get a really clean cut for my eyeliner. I put as my base Golden Ochre, and then I also used Burnt Orange and Railgar on the outer corners of my eye. I use those colors to basically use for a crease color, and I only use Golden Ochre for the transition shade. This is all from the Modern Renaissance Anastasia Beverly Hills palette, which is one of my holy grail palettes. It is absolutely incredible. So as I'm blending for eternity, let me also mention the brush that I'm using. I'm using a blending brush from Best Hope. It is a brush that I found on Amazon and it is absolutely incredible. I will link the brush down below. Next is my wing liner, and as you just saw, it's basically the look of complete fear and a pray for me please as I apply my wing liner. I'm using the Maybelline Eye Studio in the color Blackest Black. It is the gel pot and it is absolutely incredible. I also wanted to mention the brush that I was using, and it is the Sephora number 22 brush. It is just a normal pro liner brush. So as I take the tape off, you will notice that I still have some gel liner spots that really haven't gone completely on my eye. So I took the tape off because it is a little bit easier to apply the liner after you take the tape off, just because you can pull on your skin a little bit and create a very smooth line. After my whole eye is completely done with the liner, I normally will go back and just clean it up a little bit until I'm satisfied. Since I am going to be applying lashes, I'm just going to prep my eyelashes with one of my favorite mascaras, which is the Benefit They're Real. So I also went back and I applied a little bit more of Railgar into the crease. I just wanted to deepen the color and really have the color pop. Since my complexion is a little bit in between shades right now, I'm going to be using two different foundations. The first foundation I'm using is the Maybelline Fit Me foundation. I am in the color 120 Classic Ivory, and it is also the Matte and Poreless foundation. I'm also going to be using the Makeup Forever Ultra HD, and I am in the color Y425. To apply my foundation, I'm using my Real Techniques Beauty Blender, which is almost like a knockoff actual beauty blender. I got this at Ulta for cheaper than what you would pay for an actual beauty blender. It works just as well, and it is actually one of my newbie favorites. Now with foundations, make sure you blend down to the neck. I can't stress this enough. It is one of the most important things. You don't want your neck to be a different color than your face. So as you're blending, make sure you blend all the way down to your neck and make sure you blend all the way to your hairline. So as my foundation dries a bit, I like to apply my lashes. So today I'm going to be using the Ardell Mega Volume Lashes. I normally use the Duo Lash Glue adhesive, but because I couldn't find it in my makeup drawer, I decided to use the Allure Lash Fix Strip Lash Adhesive. So as you can tell from my facial expressions, I was definitely having a rough lash day. So I was using the Allure Lash Glue, and it was a little bit harder to work with. I'm used to the Duo Lash Glue, which is a lot easier. It dries really fast. This one, I guess, dried a little bit slower, so I wasn't used to that. But once it dried, it was perfectly fine. I use my tweezers to really help me apply the lash on the inner corner and the outer corner. You really just want to play with them until they feel comfortable on your eye. To conceal and highlight, I'm using the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. It is in the color Light Medium, just like I used on my lid earlier. I put a little bit on my under eyes, and then on my nose, a little bit on my forehead, and also on my chin. I'm then using the NYX HD Studio Concealer in the color CW08 to contour. So you'll see I'm using my Real Techniques Beauty Blender again to blend out my highlight and contour. So basically with this step, really, it's all about just blending out the concealer and the contour. If you see I'm kind of like pouncing on my face, that's basically what you really do for this step. I start with my concealer and then I work my way to my contour, and I kind of just continue to do little pouncing bounces on my face until I'm satisfied with the amount of blending that I have on my face. There was a really good Lifetime movie on, so excuse me looking back in the video. I don't mean to not look away, it was just a really good part in the movie. So just still blending, because blending out your contour and your highlight actually does take forever. It is a little time crunch. So if you are going to contour and highlight your face, I definitely sketch out a little bit more time than you normally do, just because you're going to probably take a little bit longer to make sure that everything is blended properly. Next, I'm going to take my Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder. This powder is probably one of my favorites. I know there's a bunch of different ones on the market now, but this one really just is able to kind of blend out everything, and it just kind of create a really smooth finish on my skin. And so I'm going to take it, and normally I'll put a little bit under my eyes, I'll put some under my contour, and then just a little bit on my forehead as well. Now when my translucent powder bakes on my skin, which is the baking technique, I'm going to just kind of put some extra mascara on my lashes. I always do this afterwards. I kind of wait a little bit longer just because I want the lash glue to be able to dry on my eye, so I don't rip off the lash or anything, because it has happened before. So you definitely want your lashes to dry a little bit, and then you could just use some mascara and fluff them up a bit and kind of create them all together. Next, I'm going to be using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Pomade. I am in the color Ebony, and I'm going to be using a Luxie brush, and I will link that down below. That I believe I got in an Ipsy bag, but I still think that you can buy that separately. So basically with my brows, all I really do is just kind of do really light strokes with using the brow pomade. I already have pretty thick eyebrows, sorry about that, to begin with, so I really don't have to do much. All they really do is just fill them in, and then I kind of just shape them a little bit more and create more definition, and it's kind of up to preference and how much I want to. I'm then going to take my spoolie brush, which I got in a set, which I'm also going to link down below for you guys, and I just kind of brush them just so that they can be a little bit all together. I also, if you notice, I did blend a little bit more. I always do that. It's just a habit. I'm next going to take the I have also a small brush, and it came in the set with the spoolie brush, and that I'm going to take some of, I think I put Real Gar into the bottom. It was Real Gar or Burnt Orange, and sometimes, and most of the time actually, I mix the two together, and then all I'm going to do is kind of just smudge under my waterline. I'm then going to go back with my mascara, because I always do. I do that 3 or 4 times, but this time I am going to add some mascara on the bottom lashes. Now, since my face has been baking for quite some time now, I'm now going to buff it all out. I'm using my Real Techniques brush, and I will link that down below. That is just your average powder brush that they have. I'm also going to take the Real Techniques. This one is actually a blush brush, but I use it for my bronzer just because I just like it better for bronzer, and I'm not really a blush person. I'm also going to go back to again and buff out a little bit more. So as you see, I'm also using a unnamed brush, which I will try to find the link down below. I'm using Vermeer in my inner corners of my eye and also at the brow bone. I don't even know what I'm saying right now. And then I'm going to go back in with my blending brush and blend out everything all together once more. I'm going to use my Max Fix Plus before I put on my highlight, and I'm going to be using the Nicole Guerrero Glow Kit. It is beautiful. It is one of my favorites, definitely, for sure. And I kind of just mixed a bunch of them together for today's look, and I put that on my cheekbones. I also put it on the tip of my nose and also my Cupid's bow. I'm going to go back in with my bronzer, and I'm using the Hoola bronzer again, and then I'm going to be using my Urban Decay setting spray, and then you're done. And there you have it, the final Sunday glam look. Whether you're going to run errands or going to dinner, you're always going to be glamorous all day long. I hope you like this video, and if you do, please like and subscribe. I hope you have a fabulous day, and thank you so much for watching.